It starts with a lie, but not just any lie, one that destroys a life forever. A freezing, silent room. John sits across from armed officers, accused of being a spy. The evidence? None. The verdict? Already decided. They demand his signature. One simple confession, and it all ends. But John refuses, and that's when everything breaks. They drag in his wife. What follows isn't interrogation, it's brutality. Screams echo through the walls as she's tortured until her will collapses. And finally, she says it, the words they wanted. John is declared a spy, and just like that, his fate is sealed. He's shipped off to a remote labor camp buried deep in a frozen wasteland, a place where the snow never melts, and neither does mercy. The guards make one thing very clear. This entire wilderness is the prison. Escape isn't just impossible, it's suicide. But the real horror isn't the cold, it's survival. Food is scarce, starvation is constant. Men fight over crumbs like animals. One prisoner spills his ration and another dives for it in desperation, only for a man named Smith to crush it under his boot. Not out of cruelty, but survival. John watches this and makes his first dangerous mistake. He gives away his own food. That single act of kindness sends a message. John is different. And in a place like this, different gets you killed. Soon, he meets Roy, an American prisoner who claims he was falsely accused too. But there's something off about him, something calculated. And then there's Waka, a man the guards don't control, a man the prisoners fear. When Waka demands a sweater and gets refused, he doesn't argue, he stabs. Just like that. No hesitation, no consequences. That's when John realizes the truth. This isn't just a prison, it's a world where the rules are gone, and only the ruthless survive. Days turn into weeks. The cold eats at their bones. Lice infest their clothes. The work never stops. Mining, chopping, digging, all for scraps of food that barely keep them alive. And then, one night, everything changes. A distant explosion shakes the ground. In the chaos, John looks up at the watchtower, and for the first time he doesn't see a prison. He sees a way out. But escaping this place isn't just about running, it's about choosing who you trust. And John is about to trust the wrong people. The storm isn't just weather, it's their only chance. The wind howls like something alive, tearing through the camp, blinding guards, swallowing footprints. To everyone else, it's a curse. To John, it's opportunity. That night he makes his move. He wakes Roy and drags him outside, forcing him to feel the storm. This is it, the perfect cover. No tracks, no visibility, no second chances. But Roy hesitates, not because he's scared, but because he's hiding something. He claims they don't have enough food. That escape is suicide. That waiting is smarter, but the way he says it feels rehearsed, like he's been killing hope for years. John starts to wonder, has Roy been lying all along? But it's too late to turn back. Desperation takes over. Deals are made in shadows. Smith trades his gold watch just to contact a man named Lazarus, someone who knows how to shut down the camp's generator. 10 minutes of darkness, that's all they need. But right before everything begins, the plan fractures. Waka finds out. And instead of exposing them, he does something worse. He presses a knife to John's throat and forces his way in. Now the escape isn't just about survival, it's about trusting a killer who answers to no one. The night arrives, the generator dies, darkness swallows the camp. For a brief moment, freedom feels real. Then the alarm explodes, sirens scream through the storm, guards panic, dogs are unleashed into the wilderness, and just like that, the hunt begins. 7 men run into the freezing void, their lungs burning, their legs collapsing under the weight of fear. Every step sinks into deep snow. Every breath feels like glass in their chest, but stopping means death. Behind them, the dogs are coming. The storm hides them, but it also destroys them. They can't see, they can't think, they can barely move. Some start to break, but John refuses to stop, because he understands something the others don't. The storm is killing the guards too. So he adapts. He cuts bark from trees, wraps it around his face to shield against the freezing wind. One by one, the others copy him. It's not comfort, but it's survival. Hours pass, maybe days. Time doesn't exist anymore. Finally, the storm fades, and silence returns. The men collapse, exhausted, starving, alive. But something is wrong. John looks around and realizes not everyone made it. Waka is wearing Roy's jacket, and when John asks where Roy is, Waka answers calmly. He says Roy was going to betray them, so he handled it, and took all the food. Just like that. No proof, no regret, only control. That's when the truth hits harder than the cold ever could. They didn't escape the prison, they brought the monster with them. And now, they're trapped with him. Freedom wasn't the end, it was the beginning of something far worse. Days pass, and the forest becomes their new prison. No walls, no guards, just endless snow, hunger, and fear. John leads them forward using the sun, clinging to one fragile belief, that south means survival. But survival has a price. Their food is already running out, and Waka is watching. When John calculates the truth, 3 to 4 weeks to reach the next safe point, but only 1 week of food, silence falls over the group. No one says it out loud, but they're all thinking the same thing. Not everyone will make it. Waka breaks the silence with a terrifying solution. Attack a village, steal what they need. The others refuse, not because it's wrong, but because they know it will expose them. One mistake and the entire region will be hunting them. So they keep moving, hungry, weak, slower every day. Then, the first life slips away. Kazik, he hides a secret he can't see at night. Too afraid to admit weakness, he wanders into the darkness alone and never comes back. When they find him, he's frozen, just meters away, close enough to survive. But too late, they bury him in silence. Waka's response? More food for us. That's when the group realizes Waka isn't surviving this journey, he's feeding on it. Weeks go by and desperation turns them into something unrecognizable. They dig insects from the ground, steal eggs from nests. When they find wolves feeding on a carcass, they don't run. They fight the wolves and eat what's left, like animals. Even John begins to crack. One night, Waka casually asks him a question. Who do you think dies first? Water, life, relief. But peace never lasts. As they move forward again, they feel it. They're not alone. Something or someone is following them. They set a trap, corner the figure. Waka steps forward, ready to kill. But John stops him, because the threat isn't a hunter. It's a girl, alone, starving, terrified. Her name is Irina, and letting her join them might be the biggest mistake they've made yet. They thought the worst was behind them. They were wrong. Irina walks with them now, quiet, observant, hiding more than she reveals. The group doesn't trust her, not because she's dangerous, but because every extra person means less food, less chance, less hope. But John lets her stay, and that choice changes everything. As dangers. At one point, they're forced to cross a frozen lake. The ice cracks beneath their feet with every step. One wrong move, and they vanish forever. Reach the other side. Alive. But barely. As days pass, truths begin to surface. Irina's story doesn't add up. Her accent, her past, the way she avoids certain questions. Eventually, she wasn't just another victim. Her parents were spies. Her life was built on lies. But in this world, the truth doesn't matter. Only survival does. And survival is about to get even harder. They reach Mongolia, thinking they've escaped, but a single sign destroys that illusion. The land is under control, still dangerous, still deadly, still not free, so they keep going, into the desert. And this is where the journey stops being human. The sun burns their skin, the ground tears their feet apart, water disappears faster than hope, their bodies begin to shut down, hallucinations start, voices, visions, mirages. Smith sees trees in the distance, water, life, salvation. John thinks it's madness, but this time, Smith is right. They find a well, and for a moment, they live again, but the desert doesn't forgive. A sandstorm hits, violent, blinding, merciless. When it ends, their water is gone. Everything they fought for, erased. One by one, the group begins to fall. Irina collapses first. Her body collapsed, too weak to continue. They refuse to leave her, carrying her forward with what little strength they have left. But she knows she's not going to make it. She looks at them one last time and lets go. Silence. No tears, no strength left for grief. Just emptiness. Then Thomas. Gone. Then more suffering, more pain, more walking. Until even Smith, the strongest among them, begs to be left behind. But John refuses. Because at this point, survival isn't just about reaching the destination. It's about refusing to become the kind of people this journey is trying to create. So they keep moving, broken, bleeding, barely alive. Until finally, they find water, a river, and beyond it, something even greater. A wall, the Great Wall of China. They've made it this far, but the final stretch is still waiting. Mountains, snow, and one last impossible choice. Because ahead lies India, but getting there might kill them all. Cold bites again, but this time it's different. This isn't a prison, it's the final test. Eventually, they reach Tibet, and for the first time in months, they see something they almost forgot existed. Kindness. A monk finds them, feeds them, shelters them. No guards, no fear, no hunger, just peace. And that peace terrifies John, because deep down, he knows something the others are starting to forget. They're not safe yet. The monk warns them clearly. Winter is coming. If they leave now, the mountains will kill them. If they stay, they might survive. For the others, the choice is obvious. They stay. But John, he refuses, because for him, this journey was never just about survival. It was about going home. That night, they sit together, not as prisoners, not as fugitives, but as men who somehow made it through hell, and for the first time, they speak about the future. Andres wants to fight back against the forces that destroyed his life. Joran wants the world to know their story. Smith just wants to go home. And John, he wants one thing, to see his wife again, the woman he lost, the woman he never stopped believing in. Morning comes, and with it, a decision. John walks away, alone, again, but this time, he's not running, he's choosing, and something unexpected happens. Joran and Andres follow him, not because they have to, but because they believe in him. They leave Smith behind, not in death, but in survival. For the first time, someone chooses to stop fighting. The others choose to keep going, through the final stretch, through pain that words can't describe, until finally, they cross the last border. India. No guards, no guns, no chains, just people who welcome them. After everything they've endured, they're free. But freedom comes with a cost. Years pass, decades, the world changes, borders shift, wars end. And one day, John returns home. Not as a prisoner, not as a fugitive, but as a man who refused to give up. He walks to his old house, a place frozen in time. He reaches for a hidden key, opens the door, and steps inside. And in that moment, everything stops. Because after all those years, after all that suffering, after crossing death itself, she's still there, waiting. And just like that, the journey ends where it began. Not with escape, not with survival, but with love that refused to die. And maybe that's the real story. Not how far a man can run, but how far he's willing to go to come back. Subscribe to support the channel. Thanks, and see the next movie.